Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating analysis. It asks a powerful question. What if you could see a leader's actions not just as politics, but as the consistent output of a kind of psychological operating system? That's exactly what we're going to explore, using the ENTJ personality type as a lens.
Right? Think about that for a second. What if there is a predictable pattern, a kind of internal code that's driving every decision? It's a pretty compelling way to look for logic in what often feels like a chaotic world. And that's the operating system we're going to unpack today.
So what exactly is this operating system? Well, in this case, it's the ENTJ, also known as the commander. These are people defined by this incredible drive, a knack for seeing the big picture, and an intense focus on making ambitious ideas actually happen. We're not just talking about managers here. We're talking about architects of the future.
And here's the kicker. The ENTJ type, it's only found in about 3% of the population. So we're not just looking at any old personality type, we're examining a rare and really powerful one. And that makes it all the more important to understand when we see it in a leader on the national stage.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to break down this ENTJ profile using 4 core functions, which the source describes with some great metaphors: the engine, the blueprint, the sensor, and the compass. Let's see how they all fit together.
First up, we've got the engine. Now, this is all about the primary function for an ENTJ, which is called extroverted thinking, or TE for short. You can think of it as the raw horsepower that drives quick, decisive, and super efficient action.
So what is extroverted thinking really? It's a mindset that is just laser focused on logic, on efficiency, and on getting results. It's all about organizing the world around you, people, systems, resources, to get something done in the straightest line possible. The core motivation is to make things run better, faster, and just more logically.
You know, this style of leadership apparently earned a pretty interesting nickname, Seltzer. And why Seltzer? Well, because it's seen as cutting right through all the bureaucratic fog and inefficiency with this, refreshing speed and clarity. It's the perfect way to picture that engine roaring to life.
And this is where the analysis gets really interesting. It takes all the common criticisms you hear about this style and just flips them. So what some people might call dictatorial, the analysis reframes as providing clear, decisive direction. What looks hasty or impatient is reinterpreted as the ability to have a fast, efficient crisis response. And what can feel cold is actually a deep commitment to objective, fact-based decisions.
Okay, so if the engine is providing all that power, where is it all going? What's it driving toward? Well, that brings us to the second function, the blueprint. This is introverted intuition, or NI. This is the part that gives all that action a grand, long-term purpose.
Introverted intuition is this amazing ability to connect dots that most people just don't see. It's about taking in massive amounts of really complex information, economics, tech, social trends, all of it, and then weaving it all together into a single, unified vision for the future. It's not about what's happening now, it's about what could happen next. And here's what that blueprint looks like in the real world. According to the source, these huge, future-focused goals are perfect examples of that NI function at work. I mean, these are not small tweaks. They're incredibly ambitious, interconnected projects that are designed to totally reshape a nation's future. And what's crucial to understand is that these policies aren't just a random wish list. They're designed to be a self-reinforcing ecosystem. So, for example, that energy highway isn't just about roads and power lines. It's built specifically to fuel the future AI industry. The success of one directly powers the success of the other, creating this really powerful upward spiral. All right, so we've got the engine, we've got the blueprint. But how does this massive vision actually connect with what's happening on the ground? That brings us to our third function, the sensor. This is extroverted sensing, or C, and it's what keeps the entire operation grounded in reality.
Extroverted sensing is all about the real world, what you can see, touch, and experience right here, right now. It's a drive to get your hands dirty, to engage directly with your surroundings, to gather concrete data, and to see action in the physical world.
For a leader, this means a strong preference for being on site, in the field, where things are actually happening. And this is said to explain the well-known habit of constant on-site visits. The idea is that they aren't just photo ops, they're a strategic information gathering base. It's like real-time beta testing, pitting the grand vision against the messy, complicated real world to see if the plans are actually holding up. And check out this quote from a colleague that perfectly sums up this energy. He'll be disappointed if he planned to do 10 things today and only did 5. The real satisfaction comes from the doing, from watching plans become real, tangible results. It's a relentless drive to just make things happen. So this brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle. It's the fourth function, introverted feeling, or FI. This is the compass, the deep inner code that answers the big question, why? Do any of this? Now, for most ENTJs, FI is actually their weakest function. It's a deeply personal internal moral code. But the argument here is that in a mature leader, this function can develop into a powerful anchor, a non-negotiable set of core beliefs that guides everything else. So where does this moral compass come from? The analysis traces it directly back to life experience. From working as a young factory boy and seeing hardship up close, to a career as a human rights lawyer defending people who couldn't defend themselves. These experiences are said to have forged a deep-seated belief in fairness and justice. And here it is. This is how it all connects. That powerful drive for efficiency, the engine, and that huge strategic vision, the blueprint, they aren't the end goals. According to this analysis, they are just powerful tools being used to build a more just and fair society, which is the ultimate direction set by that inner compass. So let's step back and pull it all together. What does the final picture look like? This is the complete, integrated ENTJ leader. When you put it all together, it's an incredibly powerful combination. You've got the engine for decisive action. You have the blueprint for that long-term, interconnected vision. You've got the sensor to keep it all grounded in reality. And at the very core, you have the compass, giving it all a powerful moral purpose. The source really sums it all up with this image. A leader who is, quote, in essence, the architect who designs the vision of a new national era and the master builder who constructs it into reality. And that, of course, leaves us with one final big question for you to think about. Can a psychological framework like this ever truly define a leader? Or is it just one very powerful, but maybe limited tool for trying to understand them? That's something to ponder. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.